Why all this water? Well, I said maybe, just maybe, Satan is taking his turn to do what God said he would never do again, and that is to flood the earth. Because there was a time of Noah when wickedness was in the land. Now, I know interchangeably I say this, so let me try to break this thing down. Let me back up. There are fallen angels in our realm, but there are also spirits in our realm. When the Bible talks about the sons of man, right? And it talks about the daughters. Let's get this saying just right. Relations, daughters of men, sons of God. The passage begins with one of the more confusing sentences in all the Bible. When man began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were attractive, and they took them wives. Okay? So let's get into Nephilim. Nephilim relations with God's creation. I know, right? Nephilim relations describe the legendary myth race of giants who were an offspring of unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men. I wanted to say this right. Nephilim relations describe the legendary mythical race. They say it's mythical. I don't believe that. But either way, of giants who were the offspring of unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men. I'm not a Bible scholar. I've always looked at it just simple. That the daughters of men evidently were carrying something unlike God. And the relationship between the daughters of men and the sons of God made your Nephilim. I'm going to leave it alone. Just wanted to put that in your head. So when I did this video, I said maybe, just maybe, Satan is having a lot of floods on the earth. And they want to, again, do what God said he would never do again. Why would Satan want to flood the earth? Well, again, 007 sent me something, and I'm going to let you listen to it. Then I'm going to go back into what I created 4 days ago, and then we're going to go from there. Because people, this is fascinating. The times that we live in, okay? The times that we live in. Let's hear this brother out. Check it out.
Trying to crack the firmament.
Satan is trying to crack the firmament. That's what he said.
NASA is trying to crack the firmament. This is just my theory because now I'm realizing I may 100% be wrong about them trying to escape. They know they can't escape. What is a rocket? A missile. What is a missile? It is a self-propelled bullet. And what do bullets do? They penetrate and break things. The Tower of Babel was to go back, but then it was destroyed. But CERN is now to let in. So when they're trying to crack the firmament, they're doing it out of rebellion because they know they cannot go back. So they're trying to let things in via CERN whilst trying to flood us all because that's what happened to them in the days of pre-flood. And I get it.
It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. And I apologize if I did not iron out my logic but I think you understand what I'm saying. There are fallen angels. A third of the angels agreed with Satan, and they were hurled down. But there are spirits. There are spirits. There are people who have literally summoned evil. And I would get in trouble in terms of describing how I think it all went down. All I can say is A-N-D backwards. A-N-D backwards. When you put it all together with the blood and calling this race of fallen angels, and then you make relationships with them, you get your Nephilim. Now, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of people who want to correct me, and I get it, but I can't explain it the way I want to because it would go into areas which are guidelines I can't break. But trust me on this. The relations between God's seed and Satan's seed within those who look like us, that's it. It's a wrap. There's your Nephilim. Now look at what I created. This is in relation to a picture that was at the funeral of one of the greatest rock entertainers of all. Okay? And I've done several videos on it, but this is Ozzy. Ozzy, picture, Statue of Liberty, holding a bat. And I said his arm at the bottom below his elbow looked like a fish. Now check this out.
And they had Ozzy.
It rained in New York, August 1st. Rain.
Dressed up as a Statue of Liberty. Was it not in New York? Now, I want you to look at this picture. I want you to look in it. When I got done with the video, I had to make a short video because I forgot what I kept seeing in my subconscious. What does this look like to you? And I want to give you a hint. They got Ozzy Osbourne as a Statue of Liberty. Where is the Statue of Liberty at? I want you guys to help me out. I know where it's at, but I want you to think. Where is the Statue of Liberty at? Nobody's responding. New York, okay. And what is the Statue of Liberty? What is the Statue of Liberty sitting inside?
The water.
The Statue of Liberty is surrounded by what?
Water.
I'm going to give you all the clues you need.
This is my
What
last.
is the Statue of Liberty? Thank you. It's surrounded around water. I didn't get this clue until I was done with the video. You see it now? I was so caught up in the arm with the bat and the red, yellow, and orange look like rock, sun god. I was caught up in the cross, being that New York was being sacrificed, and I was caught up in the other twin tower on fire. But I didn't think about this until the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, Pearson, what's surrounding the Statue of Liberty? I'm like, water. He's like, well, the same day that they buried him is the same day that New York had the flood.
And that's what I'm saying. Think about water in relation to everything that's happened the last few years. Dams breaking, boats running into bridges, storms, hurricanes, water. It's the reverse. In other words, it's Satan doing it this time as opposed to God. Because God said he wouldn't flood the earth anymore. But Satan is doing it.
That coincidence. Now, let me throw this at you. What does this look like? Look at the design of this here. I'm going to give you another hint. Water. What is this? This is his arm. This is his elbow. What does this look like?
Fishtail. A fishtail. Now, Elon's American Party and the orchestrated rift with Trump. In here, I talked about SpaceX Starship 36 explodes on June 18th. We'll connect it all together.
Here it is here. This just happened. On June 18th, SpaceX's Starship 36. There's that 36 again. Did we just have a 36? I told y'all they playing us. See that? 5:30, he gave him a key. On 7:05, he got his own party. 36. What is that 36? And this here, June 18th, come on now. The Starship was 36.
So there was an explosion. Watch.
Look, the chariot of fire. Boom, it's about to go down. Because Elijah is leaving and Elias is taking over. Trump is gone. Elon is coming. Oh, it's so deep. June 18th, 2025. Watch. Watch Elijah. He gone. Watch. There you go. Look at that. It's all symbolism. And y'all get to see it and understand this thing on the biblical script.
Now, when I initially did this, I was talking about Elijah and Elijah's. Elijah was transfigured. Well, he was taken to heaven in chariots of fire. And then Elijah's, his protege, took over from there. So I was looking at this as being symbolic. Well, over time, you see other things as well. And what am I seeing now? You think God blew this thing up? I'm going to say it again. Do you think God blew this thing up? There's a possibility that God blew this thing up. Suppose this rocket, as this man is saying, it's a rocket. Maybe it was trying to break the firmament. Oh, it's deep, ain't it? Think about it. I want to know in the description what you think. We might go live tonight. Now look at this here. Here's Genesis 11. Tower of Babel back in the day. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Doesn't that sound like what they're trying to do today? This is Genesis 11. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. Okay, you know what happened from there? God blew the thing up, right? And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. How did they get to the point where they were one? Maybe they were practicing witchcraft. Maybe they were dealing with sorcery and getting into some deep truths. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another. So God confound the language. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore, in the name of it called Babel, because God because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Now let me break this thing down. Check it out.
Why did God come down and confound the languages? It is not like we think in Sunday schools, we do our coloring books growing up, a bunch of primitive cavemen slapping brick and mortar together, building a tower, thinking they could build a tower to reach into heaven. God is not threatened by a tower built by men, no matter how high.
Right.
Know what it says in Genesis 11. Now nothing they imagine to do will be withheld from them. What was going on in Babel had more to do than simply this tower by a bunch of primitive men thinking erroneously they could get to heaven from a tower. There were the secrets of the universe they were dabbling with. And God literally came down to dumb them down to save them from themselves.
So they were trying to learn the secrets of the universe. So evidently they had to do what people are doing today, which I believe. They have relations with fallen angels. And they're teaching them secrets of the universe or a higher intellectual calling. At the same time, they're tapping what's in us. The A-N-D backwards, the A-N-D backwards. They're tapping into that because the Bible says that we're even above the angels. So we're equipped with something that's deeper than angels. And maybe they were about to tap that and be in one accord. So it wasn't just about them building a tower to go up to heaven. But let me add this, and I'll add another video or two to this. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Maybe there was something in the tower, some type of device that was built that's similar to today, like rocket. Maybe there's something in a rocket that can laser beam and pierce the firmament. I'm going to leave it like that. Now check this out.
In the Bible, in the book of Genesis, specifically in Genesis 10:12, he is described as a mighty hunter and a significant figure in the early post-flood world. The name Nimrod is often associated with rebellion and opposition to God. According to the biblical account, Nimrod was the son of Cush, who was the son of Ham, one of Noah's sons. Nimrod is credited establishing several cities in Mesopotamia, including Babel, Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. He is depicted as a powerful ruler and a prominent figure in the ancient world. Nimrod is also associated with the building of the Tower of Babel, Genesis 11:1-9. This tower was a symbol of human defiance against God's command to spread out and fill the earth after the flood. The people of Babel sought to build a tower that reached the heavens, intending to make a name for themselves and avoid the...
Ain't that something? They couldn't even wait. The flood had happened. Here come Nimrod, because he's the seed going all the way back to Noah. And there he is, the rebellious one. That's why I did my video the other day, to let people know. Those spirits didn't drown. They did not drown. But if you worship them, you can get down with them, so to speak, literally. And then they come into people, and you make relations with them intimately. Oops, there it is. That's all I'm saying. Now let me hasten on here.
Who was Nimrod? So Nimrod is presented as the Bible's first tyrant. He builds a kingdom with a whole bunch of cities, but Babel is going to be the center of his kingdom. And so the way that Nimrod is described in the scripture, even his name, the Hebrew root of it, Marad, is a word that means rebellion. He's described as a mighty hunter before the Lord. And the Hebrew there is panah, which means like the face. And so it's like he's a mighty hunter in the face of the Lord. And he's also described as a gibor, which is like a mighty warrior or warlord. And so you put all of that together, and what it's telling you is Nimrod is the world's first king, warlord, rebel in the face of God. So he is God's enemy. Who was Nimrod?
That's deep, ain't it?
The myth of Adapa, an ancient Sumerian text. And in this tablet, it's talking about the fact that according to the Anunnaki, human beings were created in a way that genetically we were supposed to become more superior than them. And that all the secrets of the universe, the mysteries, are within our body. And I believe.
Did you hear that? Listen again. This is what I'm trying to say. These people say it better than me. The mystery. Remember we were talking about the mystery earlier. The mystery. That mystery. By them coming together as one, and I believe worshiping Satan and Moloch and Baal, they were trying to unlock those mysteries. And everybody came together as one. So God scrambled the language so they couldn't finish that task. And then they stopped building the tower because it was destroyed to a certain degree. And then they scattered around the earth. And put that together with this guy is saying here. You know this guy, he's real famous. Check it out. Billy Carson.
An ancient Sumerian text. And in this tablet, it's talking about the fact that according to the Anunnaki, human beings were created in a way that genetically we were supposed to become more superior than them. And that all the secrets of the universe, the mysteries, are within our body. And I believe that because when I started studying
it's within us. Now listen to this here. Hillary Clinton was responsible for doing history on that thing, okay? Check this out. On the Tower of Babel. Check it out.
How the top of this makes it obvious that this whole giant section here that you see is actually just the foundation or the base. And you can clearly see when you get an overhead view that there was some kind of a tower that went off of the top. And this is where it gets really fascinating. These giant ramps go up, and then it looks like there probably was a huge tower that extended up off of the top. And this is in actual Babylon, and it all makes sense. They estimate that that might be what it really looked like. Here's where it gets weird. Hillary Clinton, over her period from 2003, I think, up to 2013, they actually submitted a request to try and go find the resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh. And they went to none other than Iraq, and they went in to the ziggurat there in Iraq. So it makes you wonder, what were they looking for? The resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh and the bodies of the buried Nephilim. So here are soldiers in Iraq going in to the ziggurat in Iraq.
Did you hear that? Oh, look, I had to put it together for y'all. I want you to think. Gilgamesh is the same as Nimrod. They're both the same. They're both the same. And Hillary Clinton, hey, I guess she spearheaded this movement. And all these years they went over there. We got army protecting that area. And inside, they found the Nephilim. Why are we over there dealing with that? And Saddam Hussein had that area back in the day too. That might explain in part why they said he had weapons of mass destruction. Because the real reason allegedly was to get up in this thing. I've read about stuff like this before, and the artifacts and the art that allegedly Saddam Hussein had. So listen to this again.
Is what we would call in the Bible Babylon. So what would be in Babylon or Iraq today that matches? Well, this is the ziggurat of Ur, okay? So this is an ancient Mesopotamian temple, and look at these ramps that go up, and notice how the top of this makes it obvious that this whole giant section here that you see is actually just the foundation or the base. And you can clearly see when you get an overhead view that there was some kind of a tower that went off of the top. And this is where it gets really fascinating. These giant ramps go up, and then it looks like there probably was a huge tower that extended up off of the top. And this is in actual Babylon, and it all makes sense. They estimate that that might be what it really looked like. Here's where it gets weird. Hillary Clinton, over her period from 2003, I think, up to 2013, they actually submitted a request to try and go find the resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh. and they went to none other than Iraq, and they went into the ziggurat there in Iraq. So it makes you wonder, what were they looking for? The resurrection chambers of Gilgamesh and the bodies of the buried Nephilim. So here are soldiers in Iraq going into the ziggurat in Iraq, and you have to wonder what was really buried underneath the Tower of Babel. And this,
speechless. It makes you think about what Trump is doing with the Smithsonian Institute, don't it? I'm out. God bless.